Good morning. Imagine 80 people all coming through the door in the lobby here, coming into the sanctuary and taking your place as we used to do. In this space where we've had 1,000 services, so many memories, such a deep feeling of community, and we're trying to recreate that digitally. My name's Carrie Burke, and I'm going to be the Sunday Service Associate today. And I'm in the sanctuary. Are you ready to begin? So today we're pre-recording everything, and the comm team, you're going to be hearing more about them, are splicing it together. In the second half of the service, we're going to be having a Slido live interaction with Ron, and we've done this the last couple of weeks very successfully. You'll need to open the Slido app, and you can find it at slido.com, SLIDO.com. After the service, there's going to be another digital offering. Janie has set up a Zoom chat hosted by Sarah Stevens, and it's going to go for about an hour until 1 o'clock. Maybe that's more than an hour. And hopefully that'll work. So that's 3 logins for one morning. And that kind of is our new reality. As Marshall McLuhan said many years ago, breakdown is breakthrough. One of my fathers. Oh, did I say I was alone? I don't think I did, because I'm here with a woodpecker. Breakdown is breakthrough, and you can see that happening all around us right now. And it's pushing things to the digital. It seems to be a new reality. The question, how do you unmute this sound? And where's the button for the video? We're going to be learning as we go. So first, let me welcome you, each and every one of you here. After I'm finished here, we're going to move it over to Allison and then over to Ron. So, shall we begin with our chalice lighting? The words for that are in your order of service. If you would follow with me. We kindle this flame as a symbol of our gathering. May the light of understanding illuminate our darkness, and may the warmth of sharing bring us peace. And I think we all need that a little more than usual. A change in today's program is going to be that we're not doing the offertory part, although we are collecting money for our partner church in Hungary at Hod Maser Wasserhey. We've supported them for over 30 years since the fall of the Iron Curtain, another calamitous time. And with our help, they've been able to restart their church, to improve it, and to get their congregation back to life after the communist period in Hungary. In the YouTube version of this service, there's a comment section, and you can find out how to do e-interact if you'd like to donate to this today. And you can also use that to keep your pledges as well. So, we're off and running today. Next is going to be Allison, and she's going to be doing fiddle music, a Hoken's Farewell, and Morrison's Jig. Allison, over to you.
Hello. This is weird. I am in my home studio staring at a really bright light, and you are staring at a max headroom
Max Headroom. So!
preacher. So it's all very strange. And that may have been strange, actually. But these are strange days, and so we're coming up with hopefully innovative ways that make sense for you to experience church life together. It's important that we're all here at the same time, I think, and if you'll participate with one another in the comments down below, down there, and beneath this feed, you'll be able to interact with each other in that way. And that will increase our sense of community. Of course, we'll also use Slido a little bit later, slido.com. The code for today is NSUC32920. That's NSUC32920. So the church followed by the date. And I got something to show you. This is my kite. It's a new one. I made it out of white paper, so it's super easy to write a message on. You'll notice that there is no message on it, and we'll use Slido in a little bit for you all to help me figure out what message to put on this kite, and then I'll fly it sometime this week, weather permitting. So I'll also send out, I know I said I would do this last week, I didn't get around to it. I'll send out some kite making instructions and maybe leave some materials at church this week, some more paper and doils, the sticks, I forgot what they're called. And then one of these days coming up, we'll all go fly a kite at the same time at a couple of different pre-designated places. I'll need your help determining where to go. Elevation is good, open space is good, because we'll need to be safely spaced out, right? So speaking of spaced out, you may be wondering, why this sudden obsession with kite flying, and what has it got to do with anything? That's a fair question. If there are any other questions, I'd be happy to answer those instead. No? Okay, so this is a problem with pre-recording, guys. I'm stuck answering my own rhetorical questions. There's nobody there. I'm not really talking to anybody. Okay, so here's why kites. I will answer the question. Long ago, it was like 1995, last century, I went to Thailand, and I hosteled from the cities to the islands to the mountains. And there were many experiences to be had, and I had many. One of them occurred over breakfast on the island of, I think it was Koh Phangan, it may have been Koh Samui, I don't remember. It was a long time ago, and frankly, my state of mind was rather intentionally unmapped for most of that expedition, if you catch my drift. At any rate, it was beneath a blue morning sky. and the mingled olfactory influences of pancakes, eggs, and marijuana wafting through the open-air eating area of a thatch-roofed hostel. And the slow heartbeat of the ocean surf rounded out the ambiance as I encountered this dude, or perhaps the proper term is bloke, from Jolly Old, and we commenced to discussing anything as one is prone to do in the setting that we found ourselves in. The thing is, for this guy, anything always led back to kite flying. He painted quite a picture there on the beach that morning. He was a hobbyist, I suppose, not a pro, if there is such a thing. But then, I suppose it was more than a hobby. To hear him tell it, it was a full-blown culture. In much the same ways that amateur astrologers all know the best places and times to view the stars, passionate kite flyers, to hear him tell it, know the winds and the wares of gathering for their peculiar endeavor, such that when conditions are right, they would commence an impromptu festival of filling the sky with bright and merry colors born of a kindly and consistent wind. And though the spectacle was up in the sky, it was all very much tied to earthliness. For the flying of a kite is a medium for a conversation between the natural phenomenon of the wind, ourselves, and gravity. It is both carnal and aesthetic, and so, quite plainly, spiritual. And beyond that, rather pointless, which is wonderful. Kite flying is a sort of decoratively festooned middle finger to the urgency of modernity. You can see his hook sunk deep in my imagination. And from that moment on, I never saw the chap again. I yearned to discover my way into this society of pacified iconoclasts. But then, I don't know. I never did. Until now. For as the poet, theologian John O'Donohue foresaw, this is the time to be slow. Lie low to the wall until the bitter weather passes. Try as best as you can not to let the wire brush of doubt scrape your heart, all sense of yourself, and your hesitant light. If you remain generous, time will come good, and you will find your feet again on fresh pastures of promise, where the air will be kind and blushed with beginning. Let's sing now. You could sing in your own personal church studio, or just listen. Let's bring a beginning into being with hymn number 38, Morning Has Broken.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing, fresh from the womb. soften your day.
How was that? If you would find yourself in a comfortable position, I would like to lead you in a short guided meditation in lieu of a prayer today. This would be the metta meditation. It's from the Buddhist tradition. And when I say I, that would be you saying I. So let's get comfortable, nice straight back so you can take a good full breath. Okay. Go ahead and close your eyes. I'm aware of the irony of sitting in front of a screen with your eyes closed. It's okay. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Relax the skin around your eyes. Skin around your ears. Relax. Let your jaw be loose. And the skin around your nostrils, just so your whole face is relaxed. And now join with me in this meditative prayer. As you think to yourself, may I be well. May I be at peace and at ease. May I be healthy and safe. And may I know true happiness. Now imagine somebody who it's easy to picture smiling at you. Someone who you love, who loves you right back. May they be well. May they be at peace and at ease. May they be safe and healthy. And may they be truly, truly happy. Now let's imagine someone who we encounter from time to time, but don't know very well. We're neutral emotionally with them, maybe a little gratitude toward them. So a grocery clerk or a crossing guard or the mail delivery person. Imagine their face, bring them to mind as you think, may they be well. May they be at peace and at ease. May they be safe and healthy. And may they know true, true happiness. Now let's imagine somebody with whom we've had a little bit of an issue. Perhaps an antagonist or someone who rises in you feelings of unease. And it doesn't have to be somebody you know, but it could be. And imagine their face in your mind's eye. Hold them there as you, with all of your heart, pray, let them be well. May they be at peace and at ease. May they feel safe and be healthy. And may they be truly happy. May they be happy. And now if you would just take a bird's eye view of the North Shore and Vancouver, Coquitlam, the area where you're from, expand that out a little bit broader to North America, and then a little bit broader to all the world. And as you see that orb in your mind's eye, also think of a plant that you encounter from time to time, and hold those two things in the same space and say, may all beings be well. May all beings be at peace and at ease. May all beings feel safe and be healthy. And may all beings be truly, truly happy. And if it feels right, you can say, Amen.
How could anyone ever tell you that you're anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you that you're anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. One more time. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
I know this is hard. It's scary. We are worried about the health of our loved ones, those in this community watching with you right now, and of our own health. And we fret about the state of our finances and the economic reality for those whom we care. It's straight up a freaky time. And being scared brings out the best and the worst in people. And we're seeing that too. The witnessing and extension of grace must be our primary spiritual practice right now. But it's not a carte blanche grace, right? I mean, grace is balanced by responsibility. Grace and responsibility has always been how deeply you're connected to my soul. That's been how, through grace and responsibility. But the prevailing paradigm, the culture and story of separation has infected us with this notion that we are separate from one another and from the various beings and beingness of the world. Many of the world's religions, prior to the corrupting influence of political history, have at their heart the fundamental observation of essential connection. Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, all testify to relationship, sacred connection. The paradigm of separation leads to programs of domination and the oppression of alternative visions of the world. And thus the story of interdependence and interbeing has never been allowed to flourish, not for very long, not in any institutional or culturally immersive fashion for very long. For the story of interbeing to emerge, the story of separation has to flounder, which it is of necessity going to do from time to time. The story of separation is unsustainable by its very nature. The institutions that support and are informed by the story of separation have begun to flounder of late, and that's before COVID-19. But now, as the COVID virus demonstrates our interdependence in the most tragic and attention-grabbing way possible, we actually may have the opportunity to usher in a new story. We've talked about that a little bit before. So between the very day-to-day changes brought upon us by physical distancing and economic consequences on the one hand, and the more spiritual, though also practical changes that the age of interbeing will welcome us into, there is the sense that we are on the cusp of something new, and things are changing all around us, seemingly quite radically. And so there is a sense that we are embarking on a new normal. Now, the thing about the new normal is that it's not very true. New normal assumes that there was an old normal, but there really wasn't, not in my lifetime. And I say that because I suspect that when we refer to some baseline of normalcy, what we are referring to are habits and social norms and institutions that are in and of themselves entirely transient, impermanent, evolving or dissolving from their inception. And from that inception to when we blipped into partnership with them, and then beyond that, they are evolving and dissolving. These institutions and social norms. What is changing now is the stuff that's always been changing. Now, the rate of the change and the angle of the curve is different. That's true. But what is changing is, well, by definition, subject to change. It's contingent on circumstances and always has been. And circumstances from generation to generation, from year to year, from moment to moment, are fluid. Now, given that the rate and angle of the transient are in a phase of rapid increase, it may do us some good to take stock of what is unchanging in all of this. For there, by understanding what is permanent and unchanging, we may find we are able to hold the transient a little less anxiously and find peace and ease and safety and well-being even in this moment. Specifically, I want to hone in on the locus of our experience, our means of being in the world. That is to say, I want to hone in on our bodies. Now, of course, our bodies are in a state of constant change, from infant to child to puberty, gross, to adult to elder, should we be lucky enough to achieve that status. Our bodies are constantly changing. That's true. In fact, from the last time we were all able to gather in person on a Sunday to right now, your entire epidermis, your skin has completely replaced itself. Now, why it doesn't replace saggy old wrinkles with new and supple skin is beyond my understanding. And against my recommendations, frankly, but the truth is your skin sac is always changing, and so are its contents. What doesn't change is that all those changing, interdependent, grace-filled components of your body, all of those, even in the midst of their change, as they come together, they remain the nexus point of you and also of the world. The world is rendered to you by your ever-changing body. The world is ever-changing. You are ever-changing. But the point at which you experience all of that remains constant. Your body is the media of both your spirit and the world. It is from the body that you explore physical and spiritual being. As such, your body is both a window onto and a window for God. Window and God here are both used as metaphorically as you like. But I hope you understand what I am perhaps clumsily trying to convey. And that is this. You are still here. The sensual and intellectual perceptions of your earth-born consciousness still course in and through and out of your body. And what I mean to say is that your very being is an ever-loving miracle of love made possible by the earth's engagement with God, with life, with yearning. Your being is a miracle of love made possible by the earth's yearning. Appreciate your sensual nature, your ability to perceive, and the ability of other manifestations of the earth to do the same. The plant on your windowsill, the family member nearby, the forest not far off, the bacteria inside you. All of us subjects of one another's perception. And that perception itself, none other than our rendering, our understanding of the experience of our interdependence. I mean, we are walking through fields of perception. We are in our homes, even isolated in a perceptual field of other beings, of which we are part. We experience that through our bodies. And that has not changed, nor will it till you shuffle off this mortal coil. Indeed, it's all that we ever have, all that we ever are. And I find actually great peace in that. I don't know if I'm being clear. It's difficult to describe. I find comfort in being an antenna of being. I don't know how to say it, but it sort of takes me out of the equation, while at the same time making me equivalent to the equation. I am on the other side of the equal sign. So that's not the new normal, that's the only normal. Our bodies are the point through which we engage the world. And even though they change, that point doesn't change. And at that point, that receptor point, that antenna, I find that there is some release. And in all this acceleration of transience, it is a place to be still and to appreciate and be curious. knowing that there is an unchanging ground, the body as existential interface, may allow you to hold what is always changing, including the components of that very body, with less anxiety. It may aid your flexibility in this time that requires it, and that won't hurt. So where does this thunderously obvious observation leave us? Oh, right where you are. Always. Right there. In the room you're in. With its particular light and scent and shape, with the way that the angles in your field of vision all interact with each other and with the light. With the sound of traffic outside, or kids nearby, or birds on the other side of the window, with the smell of your dog or your body. This sensual interface leaves us, if we practice, prior to reaction to any of these receptions. I mean, if you just observe without passing judgment, don't get hooked by them, but engage with them. Notice them, but don't let them trigger you. Just become aware of what is. From that perspective, experience both a sense of engagement and a remove that we might call awareness, and feels strangely akin to peace. In other words, this practice of engaging your sensorium without judgment, with intention, has the potential to generate the same sort of disposition that might arise whilst one raises one's festively adorned middle finger to the urgency of consumerism as one unwinds the tether of an airborne, earthborne kite. You are the ongoing locus of incarnate aesthetics, an exercise, so to speak, of a plainly spiritual nature. You are an exercise of a spiritual nature because you are the ongoing locus, focus of incarnate aesthetics and perception. The same is true of everything and everyone you see. Now, we beautiful kites have work to do. Beyond feeling the wind in our sails, beyond becoming sensual, there are things that we might do. Particularly if we go forth with that peace in our hearts. There are folks we might comfort, efforts in which we might engage because we are no longer worn through with worry. But I don't know what they are. I was hoping you might help me out with that. I mean, aside from physical distancing, how might we, as a religious community, be helpful in this hour? There's a place for us to do something. I don't know what it is. Think about it some. Talk to each other about it. Then talk to Jim or me or someone from the board Another thing you might consider doing is signing up for the Zoom cafes that we're hosting. I think there's at least one a day, including a musical one, I think on Thursdays, led by Allison. And there's one today, right after the Slido portion of this reflection. So we'll do this pre-recorded bit, hop over to the live version, which will be augmented by Slido, and then after that, you could jump into a chat room and actually see each other and check in with one another. And it's a little strange, but it feels good. So please do check that out. And all that is to say that right now it's really, really important for you to all open. It takes a click, open and read your e-bulletin for details about how this community is responding to the present situation and how we are staying a community throughout it. This is how we all hold each other and recognize that we're still one being, one body, one congregation. Beginning of that is to open your email. So later, in a few minutes, after we sing Circle Round for Freedom, you'll refresh your tab, which probably is somewhere up at the top of the screen here. You refresh it, and a new live YouTube screen will present itself to you. You click on that, and we'll engage in some Slido tomfoolery. I'll address a couple of questions that you have. If what I said moments ago made any sense, you have questions about it, I'm happy to answer them. But I also want you to suggest some things to write on this kite. And then vote on them. There's not a lot of room on here, so brevity is good. Anyway, in all these ways, these collaborations of the Spirit, we enact the truth of our being. And that is seeing through many perspectives and speaking through many voices. We are still one. And so now we join in singing that. We would be one.
We would be one, as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high coast of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which bends our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
Now I'm going to extinguish the flame. The words again are in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but carry with us the light of vision and the warmth of hope. The world calls to us to live with depth and meaning and purpose. We go forth with courage and with love.
So this is a little bit strange, and we're going to get better at all this. It's a bit odd for me to read my remarks that I've prepared while also looking at the green dot, not really making eye contact or receiving feedback in any way from any body. It's a very disembodied way of doing this, ironically, given the subject of my reflection today. But there you have it. There we are. And we're going to get better. And we're all learning, and you are learning right along with us. That being said, all these things have always been changing. We've always been engaging in new forms of communication, new styles, new linguistic sort of fetishes that we indulge in.
Max Headroom. So!
But our sensory nature, that remains. And it is a miracle. And so my benediction to you as we leave this sacred time and place that we have gathered together and constructed out of our intention and our knowledge that other people are doing it with us right now. As we leave this phase of our time together, I encourage you to take moments out of your day and simply become aware of what you are aware of all the sights and sounds, all the feelings on your skin, all the smells, and in that, doing so without judgment. See if you can cultivate a sense of peace and know that that interface is, in fact, unchanging. Thank you for being here today, and I'll see you in a moment live. And so if you have any questions, check out Slido.com. But until then, go in peace.
Circle round for freedom. Circle